Gig workers are turning to government benefits. We're talking Uber drivers, Lyft drivers, things of that nature. The economy's looking interesting. We'll just say interesting. France is on fire. Spain as well, but France is on fire. And Saudi Arabia, oil has been hit by the Houthis. Today is July 28th, 2026. This is the foundation. Current events. I am Sot L, seeker of truth L, speaker of truth L. And let's do it. Let's get into this. We have several things to get through. Be sure to check out welcome to thefoundation.com. At the very least, sign up for the email list so you don't miss a dance. We're doing our thing. Let's check out silver. Silver right now, currently, is trading. I'm just going to say it's consolidating. $57, 22 cents, 20 cents is moving back and forth. Dollar cost average, $20, $25, $50, $100. Whatever you can do every 2 weeks, every month, same amount of fiat currency, and go get you some real money. Dollar cost average. Silver spot price difference between the U.S. and China. Now, I want you guys to look at this, right? It's a difference between $57.24 and $64.14. China did some stuff with gold. They're not selling paper gold anymore. Apparently, that was supposed to break everything. I don't know. I didn't really see what they were talking about, but these things are significant. The arbitrage between the Western spot price and the Eastern spot price is significant. But remember, we're talking paper equities, paper futures. Fox Business, more than 1.5 million dozen egg cartons recalled over possible salmonella contamination. That's a lot of eggs. And that's, 1.5 million times 12. That's a lot of eggs. More than 1.5 million dozen shell eggs sold in 6 states have been voluntarily recalled over potential salmonella contamination. Got that contamination. Federal regulators announced this last week. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration said Midwest Poultry Services initiated the voluntary recall, affecting 1,589,577 dozen cartons of white shell eggs and brown cage-free shell eggs. Officials said the recalled products were sold under several brands, including Kroger, Brookshire's, Country Morning, Simple Truth, and Sunups, as well as various bulk grade A and grade AA eggs. The eggs were ultimately distributed to retail and food service customers in Tejas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, I wanted to say it the other way, Louisiana, New Mexico, and Mississippi, as well as other smaller retail outlets, according to the FDA. So pay attention. There's some contaminated eggs out there. And salmonella is no joke. Let's move forward. Getting filtered out. Young Americans struggle to land jobs in the new hiring landscape. Artificial intelligence is reshaping the hiring process, but for many recent graduates, it is also creating new frustrations as employers increasingly rely on automated screening tools to sort through thousands of applicants or applications. Job seekers say they worry qualified candidates are being filtered out before a hiring manager ever sees their resume. Yep. A lot of these companies are cutting staff, they're cutting interviewers, they're cutting these people, they're cutting their jobs, and they're implementing artificial intelligence in that place. Artificial intelligence has no soul, it has no emotions, it has no empathy. It just does what it's programmed to do. And a lot of times you got to program it multiple times, multiple updates in order to get it correct. So we're going to see this shake out probably in the next couple of years. More Amazon and gig workers are turning to SNAP and Medicaid to make ends meet. Study finds a growing number of Amazon and gig economy workers earn so little that they rely on public assistance to put food on the table and obtain health care. This is according to The Government Accountability Office study that was released last Wednesday. The report is yet another example of the affordability crisis affecting many in the United States, where even some employed Americans need government help to pay for basic needs like food and healthcare. The number of Amazon employees receiving food stamps and Medicaid in September nearly tripled since the agency's previous report in 2020, according to Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders, who requested both analyses. Nearly 12,350 Amazon staffers were enrolled in food stamps, and nearly 11,350 were covered by Medicaid in the states examined. Meanwhile, rideshare and food delivery companies are now among the top employers of recipients in the two safety net programs in several states, which was not the case 5 years earlier. Those companies, including Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, Grubhub, and Instacart, analyzed data from 11 states where nearly one-fifth of Americans reside. Analyzed data from 11 states. It found that Walmart was one of the top employers of workers receiving these benefits in all the states examined, as it was in 2020. Meanwhile, the number of FedEx staffers on Medicaid more than tripled, and on food stamps nearly doubled over the period. Quote, no one who works for a company making billions in profits should be living in poverty, end quote. This is Bernie Sanders said, who has long called out major corporations for not paying their workforce a living wage, said in the statement. Amazon said the conclusions drawn from the report are wrong, arguing that its pay scale is among the best in the industry and that its regular full-time employees have access to health insurance on their first day for $5 a week for individual coverage. Excuse me. How many people are full-time employees, though? Most companies, and this has been since I want to say like 08, 09. Most companies don't like to hire full-time employees. They love that part-time. Amazon said the conclusions drawn from the report are wrong. I don't believe them, though. I don't believe them. But that's what they said. Quote, eligibility for both SNAP and Medicaid is based on total household income and family side, not individual wages or benefits. So employers that offer part-time options for those who want them, like we do, are likely to have more people who are eligible, the Amazon spokesperson said. One of the country's largest employers, Amazon has expanded its workforce since the panorama began. It announced in late 2025 a $1 billion investment to boost pay and reduce healthcare costs for its fulfillment and transportation employees in the U.S., increasing the average base pay to more than $23 an hour. I don't know. Is that beating inflation? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what the increase is if it's not beating inflation. The only way some travelers can afford summer trips, they have to raid their cherished loyalty points stash. Alera Ahiancho had banked more than 100,000 United Airline miles, hoping she could one day experience a first-class live flat seat experience, but that dream will have to wait. The summer's high airline ticket prices, driven by soaring costs of jet fuel, made her airfare to China in May much more than she had budgeted. She almost decided to cancel her plans to visit Disneyland parks in Shanghai and Hong Kong. Instead, she wiped out her miles balance by using more than 60,000 miles on airfare in just one direction, then used another roughly 60,000 miles on hotels. She and her partner still pay cash for the return flights as well as the second full round trip fare. This is just another sign of what's happening with this system and its currency. Porsche to axe 1 in 5 jobs by 2035 as China EV woes bite. German luxury car maker Porsche will cut around 1 in 5 jobs by 2035. And people are like, oh, 2035, man, that's like less than 9 years. With 9,000 positions to be axed in total as parent Volkswagen and its brand restructure in the face of weak demand and stiff competition, In a deal announced Monday after months of negotiations, Porsche management and labor representatives agreed to 5,000 additional job cuts that avoid compulsory redundancies through measures like natural attrition and voluntary schemes. I mean, you're forced into the voluntary. Hey, accept this benefits package, this exit package. Here's what you're gonna get. This is what we'll give you. If you don't accept it, you're probably just gonna get fired, and you're on your own. You're on your own. Nasdaq and S&P 500 edge lower as tech stocks drop, and the focus is on the Mideast conflict. Speaking of Mideast conflict, I'm just gonna move forward. We already know Houthis say they targeted Saudi east-west oil transport. They also hit a refinery. Yemen's Iran-aligned Houthis. I read it, right? And it kind of reads like who this. I don't know. Is that just me? Does the Houthis read like who this? I don't know. I apologize, y'all. Monday, they said they targeted a number of sensitive crude oil supply and transport sites linking eastern Saudi Arabia to the critical Red Sea oil export hub of Yanbu. Saudi state oil giant Aramco did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Houthi military spokesperson Yahya Saree said the operation was in response to what it described as Saudi drone incursions into Yemeni airspace. Saudi Arabia has rerouted its crude output to Yanbu via its east-west pipeline to get around Iranian attacks and shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, which began after the U.S. and Israel launched a war on Iran in February. Last week, Iran's Houthis ally threatened to extend a disruption to the global oil supplies to a second major waterway by announcing a blockade of Saudi Arabia's oil industry in the Red Sea, sending oil prices even higher. This is just escalating, y'all. People, man, this is escalating. We'll keep you posted. The Houthis' commandeering of a Red Sea strait is a huge deal. The Strait of Hormuz remains at a virtual standstill because of President Donald Trump's war, right? You got to blame Netanyahu, too. That guy has a lot to do with it. And now, in what represents a new global energy price nightmare, Houthi militants in Yemen have begun to block a separate corridor that is critical for global oil shipping. Let's just go. That's all we need to know. Top Lloyds of London marine war insurers have told brokers they'll stop selling war cover for Saudi-linked cargoes in the Red Sea after Houthi attacks on 2 Saudi tankers, and some are preparing to cancel existing policies. The exclusion covers any ship with Saudi touch points, including foreign flagged vessels that had previously called at Saudi ports. Saudi Arabia is now being lumped in with the US, UK, and Israel as high-risk jurisdiction, a serious blow given Riyadh's growing reliance on oil and oil exports. This is a big deal. If these tankers, if these ships can't be insured, if there's no insurance on them, they're not moving. They're not moving. We're going to see that. Listen, this is just we'll see the effects of this very soon. We will definitely see the effects of this very soon. I don't see this ending anytime soon. It just looks like a continued campaign, the continued U.S. campaign. That's what it looks like to me. Just it's a U.S. U.S. campaign. I don't see this. I don't know. France and Spain race to curb wildfires before new heat wave arrives, and there's fires everywhere. There's fires. What do they call it? The boundary waters. Right in the area of Canada and the United States. Up, where is that? Like South Dakota, Michigan, Minnesota area over there. There's fires everywhere. The world is almost on fire. And honestly, technically, and you can do your research, just do a search real quick. When does fire season start? Hasn't started yet. Firefighters sought on Monday to take advantage of more favorable weather conditions to subdue massive wildfires threatening the French city and tourist region of Bordeaux and a number of sites in neighboring Spain. They were racing against the clock as another heat wave is expected to hit both countries later this week in what has been a blisteringly hot and dry summer across Western Europe. And this is El Nino, right? El Nino is dry, but like thunderstorms and so on and so forth. La Nina is generally more wet. But what do I know? I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not. Authorities have evacuated about 220,000 people, including holiday makers and local residents. In France, while further south in Spain, around 100,000 have been told to leave their homes or seek shelter. Quote, the fight against wildfires begins with prevention. 9 out of 10 fires are human caused, and most arise from carelessness, a cigarette butt, a barbecue, work carried out without precaution. That's true. That's true. But, the prescribed burns that usually need to happen and have happened, there's a lot of pushback against these prescribed burns. I heard about a lot of it going on in California a few years back where, straight insurance companies were not even insuring the companies that did controlled burns, prescribed burns, or whatever. And when all that stuff builds up, that arid, dry material, it just it's just a bad thing. It's a bad thing. Moving forward, truckloads of Tesla batteries keep getting stolen before they even leave the factory. How? How do you steal batteries out of a factory, a truckload, more than one time? That's a good question. Trailers containing millions of dollars worth of Tesla car and home batteries have allegedly been stolen straight from loading docks at the company's Nevada facilities at least 11 times since last December. Come on, man. Quote, it's an epidemic right now, says Story County Sheriff's Detective Sam Hatley. Sam Hotley? I don't know. Who has been investigating the Tesla cases. 3 men suspected of carrying out one of the heists were arrested in January and charged with felony possession of stolen property, but the broader spate of cargo thefts plaguing Elon Musk's car company are still under investigation and have not been previously reported. They weren't even reported. That's crazy. Hatley tells Wired the incident documented in the sheriff's report reflect only a portion of the problem. Investigators are tracking a total of 17 alleged cargo thefts this year involving Tesla and other businesses in Story County. Though Hatley declined to say how many involved the car maker, specifically one alleged operation that targeted Tesla also struck battery recycler Redwood Materials. These figures may be an undercount, Hatley adds, because companies are sometimes reluctant to disclose that their products have been stolen. Transportation industry researchers estimated last year that shipping thefts in the U.S. roughly doubled from 2022 to 2024 and are now collectively costing companies nearly $18 million a day. I didn't know this. I mean, I knew, there's a lot of theft, but I didn't know $18 million a day is crazy. But if it's $1 trillion company, I don't know. What does that mean? Which could arguably translate to higher prices for shoppers. So, because y'all can't secure the supply and you just keep getting robbed for your stuff in your domain at your own factory, you're going to charge people more. You see all of these, what do you call them? All of these conditions that are allowing the increase in prices overall. I don't know. Saab wins $1 billion order for surveillance aircraft in Middle East. What? Saab has received an order for 2 Global Eye surveillance aircraft from a country in the Middle East region worth 10.1 billion Swedish crowns, or $1.04 billion, with deliveries in 2030. Global Eye aircraft have active and passive sensors that provide long-range, real-time detection and identification of objects in the air, at sea, and over land, enabling situational awareness and early discovery of threats. Quote, the increasing international interest in Global Eye reflects its effectiveness and reliability in modern air defense operations. Do you see this buildup? I see a buildup. I'm seeing a buildup. I don't know if you're seeing a buildup, but I definitely see a buildup. Let's move forward. Automatic military draft registration takes effect in December. Here's how it would work. Did you know that? Did you guys know that automatic military draft is taking effect in December? I'm sorry. My apologies. 100%. What? I'm going to say it one more time. Automatic military draft registration takes effect in December. Young, eligible men will be automatically registered for the military draft pool starting in December as part of a measure tucked into the annual defense policy bill Congress signed into law late last year. Men ages 18 to 26 must already register for selective service in case of a draft is required. The last time a draft was in effect was February 1973 during the Vietnam War. Automatic registration is already in place in 46 states and territories, according to the Selective Service Systems 2024 report. The SSS, I don't know. That's wild, man. SSS, what is that? World War II. That reminds me of World War II. Anyone else with me? Has proposed a rule to the Office of Information and Regulatory Affairs late last month to implement the practice nationwide. The nationwide measure has no connection to the ongoing war in Iran and was passed with bipartisan support months before the current conflict with the country. So you think that this would mean that these types of actions are impulsive, right? So you mean to insinuate to me that the government acted impulsively. Trump's administration acted impulsively with this Iran situation, and they had no idea that there was an issue with Iran 2 months before. Come on, man. Come on. CNN, nice try. Nice try. But the Trump administration has declined to rule out the possibility of putting U.S. troops on the ground, and the war has led to renewed attention on the draft policy. And listen, I'm hearing boots on the ground. This is what I'm hearing. I don't know. And not from like, my inside sources. No, I was watching YouTube. It was like, what's the guy's name? Sid something. It was a Jewish guy. He was on CNN. He's some sort of correspondent or something, whatever. And he was saying boots on the ground. And even the CNN correspondent said boots on the ground. You know. According to the National Defense Authorization Act, which President Donald Trump signed into law in December, the automatic registration will apply to male U.S. citizens and every other male person in the country between the ages of 18 and 26. That means if you're not a U.S. citizen, if you're on a green card, a student visa, maybe, I don't know. But every other, so U.S. citizens plus. The mandatory registration applies to green card holders, refugees, asylum seekers, and undocumented men. So if you're here illegally, I remember, watching videos of, vans rolling up in Ukraine and throwing men in the van, right? Currently, in states that have enacted automatic registration, men must register within 30 days of their 18th birthday, according to the SSS website. The agency accepts late registrations up until a man's 26th birthday. It is a felony to not register for selective service and can result in the loss of certain benefits like some student loans and federal jobs. It's also a violation of the Military Selective Services Act, which could lead to imprisonment up to 5 years and a fine of 200. Listen, so here we go. Now, there's the threats, coercion. Wow. Some places like Arizona and Delaware and Washington, D.C. automatically register eligible men when they apply for driver's license or another form of state identification. Meanwhile, in New York, the application for driver's license includes a section that allows eligible men to register for selective services. There's going to be a military draft in the United States. I'm just saying it. Today is July 28th, 2026. There will be a military draft in the United States. Unfortunately, moving forward, AI devices that see, listen, and record. Are we ready for the post-smartphone world? Picture this. On a normal workday, you and your coworkers walk around the office with tiny recorders clipped to your clothes. The glasses on your face nearly instantly identify what you see. Your bracelet records and analyzes all your conversations. No thanks. This is the future tech companies envision. In the age of AI, whether consumers want it or not, major tech companies and startups are developing new types of wearable gadgets that can see or hear. Meta is selling millions of its AI glasses. I'm not even going to read. Essilor-Luxottica. I tried. With embedded cameras and microphones, Samsung will launch its own smart glasses later this year. Wearing these items can give AI assistants instantaneous access to your life. Tech leaders hope that will help AI agents give advice tailored to users and eventually do things for you. I personally tried to live in that future, integrating different wearables into my work and personal life. They were helpful in certain situations, but I often felt awkward asking friends and coworkers to record our interactions. Devices that can watch you and others also put privacy at risk, experts say. Y'all ready for this? because here it comes. Speaking of here it comes, Trump administration to ban Chinese humanoid robots, protecting U.S. AI build out. So even if you want a Chinese robot, you can't get it. The Trump administration today plans to unveil bans that target import of new Chinese robots and power inverters, seeking to protect the U.S. AI build out from national security threats and reshore key industries slated for explosion growth, U.S. officials said. And I get it. You know what? You don't want foreign robots that have access to the internet all the time in your country that originate from a country that you have hostilities with. You know, that's kind of like, what is that? I'm I'm being reminded of a certain story. Oh, my bad. Troy. Yeah, Trojan horse type thing. Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. This company will add phone, AirPod, and smartwatch trackers to license plate readers. Listen, a surveillance company plans to add sensors to automatic license plate readers. That would mean the devices as well as a capture. Wow, that would mean the devices, as well as capture the license plate of passing vehicles, would also sweep up unique identifiers of mobile phones, wearables, and other Bluetooth enabled devices in those cars, potentially letting law enforcement identify specific drivers or passengers. This is a violation of the Constitution. Secure in your person, papers, and effects. Your cell phone, your mobile phone, any device that you're wearing, that's your effects. Straight up a violation. This technology called Signal Trace would turn ALPR or automatic license plate reader cameras from devices focused on tracking cars to ones that can more readily track the location of particular people. And this is it. Leonardo Signal Trace. Integrated surveillance system. They're going to be tracking your Bluetooth signals, your Wi-Fi signals. They're going to be looking at your license plates. Signal Trace identifies the movements of electronic devices and vehicles, stores data on the Signal Trace server where it can be queried and analyzed to aid investigators. Don't believe it, but it says it respects individuals' privacy rights, does not decrypt or read content from devices. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Allows law enforcement to recognize a specific vehicle included in an electronic signature without the license plate number. Reveals signatures frequently traveling together. So if you ride with your smartwatch and you have your phone with you, and you're in a phone that has Bluetooth enabled or Wi-Fi or whatever, it's crazy how it works. As the devices emit signals, Signal Trace sites capture and correlate them together, along with license plate reader data if present. The data collected shows what group of devices are traveling together. Algorithms can determine which specific mix of devices are predictably moving together. That specific mix of devices linked by common timestamps and locations are described as an electronic fingerprint and can help develop leads that aids investigators. For example, while 70 cars in 100 may contain iPhones, only one will have an iPhone 13 revision 2. Okay, so iPhone 13 revision 2. An Audi radio, a pair of Bose headphones, a Garmin sports watch, a key finder, and the license plate ABC1234. The collection of data represented by the specific things is an electronic signature. This is a violation. This is a violation. 100% violation. 100% violation. The world is getting crazy, y'all. It's getting crazy. I know I just ran through that, right? That was a lot in a little bit of time. But pay attention. And if you haven't heard of this stuff, you have now. All I can say is it's privacy is a right and a responsibility. So I would just suggest you think about that. With that being said, you enjoy yourself, take care of yourself, make sure you say 10 things that you're thankful for before you go to sleep tonight. Every night is very important. And I'll catch y'all tomorrow on Current Events. Peace, y'all.